Welcome back to episode 25 of the ATD Baseball Podcast. Yes, you are not seeing things. We are all together as one. We are not over Zoom. We made it to the promised land, or Cooperstown.
Same thing.
Yeah, same thing.
Middle of nowhere, but
We'll get to
pretty
that.
close.
We'll get to that.
I mean, we got a lot of things to cover. Melo's first flight.
Yes, that was interesting.
We're in the middle of nowhere.
Yes, which I am not used to.
Of course, Kyle's Yankees.
Oh god.
The world is falling apart in their land right now, but we'll dive into all that stuff. You know, a couple other topics maybe we'll touch on too. But Melo, we're just gonna start with your whole experience flying, being in PA now for the first time, East Coast for the first time. I mean, what are your thoughts so far?
I haven't seen a tall building in like 3 days.
Well, you've seen the tallest trees you've ever seen.
Yes, I have. I already have my Christmas tree picked out for this December. I will be going when we get back to PA. I will cut it down and take it home with me. No, but honestly, I really didn't know what to expect because I've never been out to the East Coast before. So I was like, but I was very intrigued and interested because I was like, I want to see what it's all about. I was like, you guys have been there. You guys know. I don't. So I wanted to see what it was all about, and I like it. I've had no complaints. I mean, Jesus, some of these yards that I've seen, they're like freaking football fields, man. I'm like, why don't you stick the NFL logo on it and play in the back or something? But no, no complaints. Kyle has been a great host.
Thank you.
Welcome me into his home. Yeah, flight was good. A little turbulence. I was scared shitless, but other than that, no, it was fine.
All right. I mean, me and Kyle, we had a decent time flying out last year, but Kyle knew what to expect. It was my first time flying last year, or not even last year. It was just this spring.
Yeah,
It kind of feels like a longer time than that, but
it does now. Yeah.
I mean, you have to experience. So your first experience in PA in the East Coast was Philly. So I don't want to say that's not different than LA, but I mean, it's still big city. I mean, obviously there's differences, but what were some of the differences you noticed?
It's just so green out here. Freaking LA, it's like dying out there. No rain, no nothing. Can't keep our lawns nice and green. It's all dirt. So that was the first big notice that I saw. There's so many trees and it's very nice and green here. Yeah, that's the biggest thing I've noticed.
All right.
When I came in, it was cloudy, so I was able to see the skyline of Philly just a little bit, but it was cloudy. So yeah.
I mean, that's about like LA with all the smog you guys got out there. Anyway,
Yeah,
right?
exactly. A lot of smokers,
Yeah, LA is just catching strays here on this podcast. But anyway, I mean, that's enough of what's been going on here and Melo's trip to the East Coast. I'm sure
which is not over.
No. Just starting, really. But we're going to get into the baseball side of things a little bit here. We got to start off with Kyle's Yankees. And they're sort of the talk of Major League Baseball right now. Not for the best reasons, though. And even when you look at it, they're not doing terrible. They're above 500. There are times to the Phillies fans I would have died for that in the late 2010s. But you are sitting in last place in the AL East. Current feeling around Yankee Nation right now?
Dreadful. I'll say that. So obviously the New York Yankees have a very strong brand of baseball, and having this brand for so many years and having the winning records and having the consecutive seasons of playoff appearances, things like that, winning seasons. It is now coming to a halt, and it's really showing. And the biggest problem I have with this team is the problems were not addressed before the season. and every hole that was not addressed is now glaring, gaping wide open, and that's the issue. And obviously, I mean, yeah, we're over 500, which is great when you look at the long scheme of things. But the problem is the AL East is loaded with talent up and down. Especially, I mean, you got Baltimore in first place right now. Who truly thought that at the beginning of the season? So it's not looking good. I'm really hoping that things start turning around. Maybe the deadline, give me Cody Bellinger. I'll be happy though.
Oh, so you can bat 190 again?
Probably. The way these Yankee trade targets go, that's kind of how it goes.
I mean, Mel and I both did say, "What are you doing to Brian Cashman if they don't go out and trade for Cody Bellinger before the deadline?" But
he should have been gone years ago. That's the issue.
I mean, yeah, we could spend a while on just Brian Cashman's decisions and choosing players that he signs and trades or whatever else, but we don't have to do that. But what is the ideal trade deadline really for the Yankees looking like?
Oh man, so obviously I truly want Bellinger. I want him.
Oh, so you're all in on Belly?
I am, but knowing the Yankees, they're gonna want a guy with years of control. So if I had to give my true prediction, I'm thinking Dylan Carlson. They made a trade with the Cardinals last year. I mean, I think he's got 2 or 3 years left of team control. The Yankees are big on that. Obviously we need catching depth now because Jose Trevino's out for the season.
Yep.
So I mean, honestly, just give me whatever. It can make this team better because whatever they're throwing out there now is not good.
You see him really trading anybody away at the major league level? I mean, the hopes of getting rid of Donaldson kind of disappeared now that he's out for probably the rest of the season, or likely.
Most likely.
Yeah.
If not, he'll make a couple appearances at the end of the season, but that's pretty much it. If I had to guess, I think it really depends on this whole week. If we lose this series against Kansas City and things just start looking like downhill completely, I mean, who knows? Maybe there is some trades because I know the Yankees were talking about being buyers and sellers. They want to get under that threshold. For some reason, they're big in the draft right now. So maybe they don't want to lose that first round pick. I don't know. But yeah, that's kind of where it's at, and it's kind of gloomy. It's not looking good. It's really not.
Oh, how the mighty have fallen. I mean, the days of the Yankees spending the hundreds and hundreds of millions are kind of gone now, right?
I mean, when I saw the report that Brian Cashman wants to stay under that threshold, that kind of told me everything I needed to know. Fair enough. Obviously Hal feels the same way since he's not doing anything about it. So yeah, those days are over. I sadly did not get to witness them. But hey, I get to read about them, right?
You just got swept by the Angels over the week.
Yes, we did. And we lost the series to Colorado.
Yeah.
Alan Trejo.
Wonderful.
He lost to a team that still thinks that their fan base is going to retake Ohtani. You're supposed to be doing us a favor here. The whole world wants Ohtani to get traded. And then what do the Yankees do? We'll get swept by the Angels. And we'll make the Angel fans believe that they have a shot again.
I mean, I guess they need something in Anaheim, right?
Well, they got Disneyland.
I mean, Mello, you caught a ton of flack for that take that you had.
Don't care.
Like, everybody was just giving it to... No, I'm just saying. Everybody was just giving it to you left and right for saying that you think the Angels have no shot of re-signing Ohtani.
They don't have no shot.
Oh, 100%. I couldn't agree more. But, I mean, I'm glad I wasn't the one putting it out there, I guess.
I don't live in this fantasy land like they do. I'm a normal baseball fan. I see things writing on the wall. He's not coming back to the Angels.
Fair enough.
Whether that's in a trade or he's just not going to resign. I'm sorry. I'm just sorry. Sorry, Angel fans. Just live in a world where they think he's coming back. I feel sorry for them. I really do.
I mean, it's the brutal truth, though. I don't think there's really any chance of him re-signing, but I guess Artie Moreno's holding out hope a little bit.
For what? For what? No, seriously, for what?
Yeah.
For what?
So the thing with the Angels, I mean, it's the same record every single year. The whole thing with Trout and Ohtani. But my biggest thing was, I thought when they went out and got Eduardo Escobar, I thought maybe that was the beginning of something. I'm not saying Escobar is going to turn a franchise around because he's not. But at the end of the day, it's something that the Angels are actually trying to do. Just bring in some kind of talent, kind of mix things up, and then hope and pray that, you get a shot at the playoffs, because I feel like that's the only way that you have any chance of re-signing Otani.
I mean, Anthony Rendon has been one of the most disappointing players in the league since 2019. He signed with them, I think.
Yeah. I was telling Kyle this on the drive over here. It was like he got that big $200 million contract for having 3 good weeks.
Yeah,
3 good weeks, and he hasn't lived up to it since. And listen, he didn't want that Hollywood lifestyle. Fine, it's okay. Go rot in Anaheim.
I mean, I don't even remember what other teams were in contention for signing him.
Dodgers.
Were they?
Dodgers, yeah, because we were thinking at the time that Justin Turner was
washed.
Not washed, but it was like, okay, let's look to the future. He's not getting any younger. And I'm glad we stayed with Turner. Because, look, Rendon can't even get on the damn field.
I mean, yeah, you're not really wrong, and it looks like one of the worst contracts in Major League Baseball right now.
It's not the first one bad contracts the Yankees have handed out.
It is not, and sadly, they are known for handing those out, not winning games with 2 of the most impressive and historically great players in the history of our lifetimes, because they won nothing with them.
Way to sell your soul, Mike Trout.
Yeah, you could have had it all. You could have came over to Philly. Him and Bryce Harper teaming up would have been something. Oh,
you win your 85 games a year, like
all right. Who made it to the World Series last year?
And who lost?
All right. I don't know if I need to bring up 2017, but
cheated.
Don't bring that up.
I guess I'm in the wrong spot with these 2 guys. And you're also wearing a Phillies hat right now. So
yes,
Philly slander, Mel.
Yes, I am.
Enough of that. But
I thought this was a Pirates hat.
It is not a Pirates hat. Oh, okay. Wrong P on the hat. That was professional transition right there by Mello, because we do need to talk about the Pirates, because they have been awful since their first month of baseball. They're at the point now where they're definitely sellers. There's no chance that they're even considering buying a little bit, but they're going to be trading away pieces like probably Carlos Santana. Phillies, hey, we're interested in that a little bit, maybe a reunion there. But I know the kind of general consensus is that they're just a young team. The pieces aren't there, and O'Neal Cruz got injured. But what's the sort of reasoning you guys are seeing behind the Pirates' fall from grace, so to say, Mello?
They came out the gates better than everybody expected, and there's nothing wrong with that. I mean, let's be honest. They got off to that good start, and we kind of knew that things were going to balance out eventually, because that's what happens a lot in the sport. Things do balance out. And I know we're not mentioning them, but look at the race. Things are starting to even out a little bit too. And I just think that's what happened with the Pirates. They just played well above their expectations, and now they're falling back to where we all thought they would be. We play 162 games for a reason. And the Pirates are showing it right now.
Oh, that was pretty good analysis right there.
Thank you.
Hard to top. You could just agree with it at the very least.
No, and obviously that is a very valid point. I do agree with that 100%. As putting all the young teams into a circle, right? You got the Reds, you got the Orioles, were just the Orioles, and I just don't think the Pirates are at that level yet. Their younger guys either can't stay on the field, or they're just not producing the way that the Pirates need them to. Look what Cincinnati's doing. Every player that they're calling up is making an immediate impact right away. Ellie De La Cruz has taken this league by storm. It's been amazing to watch. And then obviously I hate to admit it, but the Orioles, they look absolutely amazing. I mean, every single prospect that they have either drafted or traded for, anything, has worked out in their favor. And for the Pirates, it's just not there yet. I mean, I was happy to see the Pirates winning. I think that's really good for the sport. But like I said, I think they're a few years off, but Paul Skeens is coming. So
Yeah.
there's there's some bright future in Pittsburgh. It's just not right now.
Yeah, that's basically the best way to say it. I have a friend I played high school baseball with who asked me the other day. Well, not the other day. It was like 2 months ago or something. He was like, when the Pirates were still doing all right, he was like, "What do you think about the Pirates?" Knowing that I, do this podcast and stuff around the diamond, and he was like, "What do you think of the Pirates?" And I was like, "Well, I think they got off to a really hot start, but I don't think that their success is going to be sustainable. There's just." And that was at the point where Cardinals were doing bad, but there was still hope that they could rebound. Cubs, I was still in on the Cubs a little bit, not thinking they'd be sellers then. And then obviously the Brewers at the top of the division. And the Reds were still bad at that point. So I was like, I think that there's a chance they finish in like third place, but this was when they were winning division. I was like, there's no chance that they win the division. Maybe a slim chance they try and sneak in the playoffs in the wild card, but the National League's just too loaded. At the end of the day, the only way they were getting in probably is winning their division. And with the Reds calling up all of their young stars, it's made it a 2-horse race. I mean, that's all it is. And the Reds are looking to pull away, but didn't help that they just got swept by the Brewers last weekend. So it's going to be interesting to see how the Pirates are able to bring up their young talent and hopefully not get shelled like what's the guy's name? Priester just got called up and he got absolutely rocked in his debut. I kind of felt bad for him, but I was like, hey, welcome to the show a little bit right there for you.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sure they're going to be looking to make a couple minor trades, trading away some veteran pieces. I mentioned Carlos Santana before. McCutchen is a rumored, but I don't know if they really want to get rid of him.
You just brought him back.
I think he has to stay there, right?
I would hope so.
Yeah, that's the way I look at it. He's got to finish his career in Pittsburgh. I don't think there's anywhere else he can.
And Pirate fans shouldn't feel, they shouldn't feel bad about it. Base hit tie game. There we go. Never mind, bases are loaded. Don't listen to me. Pirate fans shouldn't feel bad. It's like we all know that they're a couple years away.
Yeah.
Now, just be happy you're not a Cardinals fan because we had higher expectations for them.
Yeah.
And it's not working. So they'll be fine.
Yeah, you got a very bright future there in Pittsburgh for sure. And like you just said, with Paul Skeens coming, drafting him, signed him to the, I think, richest
I believe so.
bonus.
Not $9 million.
Yeah. It's funny to see some of the names that were on there. Shout out Tigers, Spencer Torkelson. That experiment, not even experiment, like he was a surefire prospect. Didn't turn out too well. But we're gonna switch gears here. We mentioned the Orioles. Kyle did a little bit. And they're in your division. You know them pretty well. They have overtaken the Rays for first place in the division. And they're going to look to grow on that lead as they play 3 games this weekend as well. I mean, your first up and close analysis on how the Orioles overtook the Rays.
I think it's, exactly what Melo said. The Rays just got out to a red hot start, and now they're kind of coming down back to earth. And I'm not saying the Rays are not a good team because they are phenomenal. The way the Rays operate, I don't understand how they do it, and it pisses me off year in and year out as a Yankee fan because they have one of the lowest payrolls in baseball, and then they turn around and they're constantly overtaking the Yankees. Anyway, though, I think it's just the fact of I think guys are slowing down a little bit. They're not producing at the level that they were for the Tampa Bay Rays at the beginning of the season. But now, on the other hand, that's when the Orioles took off. Gunnar Henderson is coming around, and he's looking phenomenal. It's scary to me. Adley Rutschman's doing his thing that he always does. Anthony Santander is amazing. He's such a good bet for that club. No, I think that's pretty much it. I think that's what it comes down to. The Rays got cold at the wrong time, and the Orioles got hot at the right time. And that's exactly what happened. They overtook them, and now they're looking to hold that. And, it's not crazy to say that the Orioles might win this division this year.
Yeah. Melo?
The darlings of Major League Baseball this year.
Yeah.
It was only a matter of time before, listen, they're not, only a couple years ago, they lost like 115 games. I'm happy for Baltimore fans, and I'm happy for the organization that the draft picks that they're bringing up and the guys are calling up, it's panning out and it's working. That's just you do it right like that, good things are gonna happen. And I'm happy for them that it's paying off in their first place. I know you don't want to hear that.
No, of course
But
not.
hey man, what Baltimore hasn't had a playoff series in a long time.
Mhm.
I can only imagine what that fan base is gonna be like if they can get a home game.
Yeah.
Tie game. There it is.
No, and I mean, building off of that, I am happy for Orioles fans. I really am, because that's what you got to do in baseball. I mean, Baltimore's not a extreme market, and obviously with no salary cap in this league, you gotta. I mean, that's how you're making your team. Is you gotta draft right and you gotta trade right. That's exactly what Baltimore has done. So I'm happy for them. I mean, yeah, obviously it sucks they're in my division, and I'm gonna hate them for years to come, and that rivalry is gonna get a little bit more intense. But no, I mean, I'm happy for them, and they deserve every bit of positivity that they're getting.
And an interesting conversation that can be had with the Orioles is they got all this young talent, and they got even people that haven't been called up yet. I mean, they got Jackson Holiday, and he might be a year or two, from getting to the show. I'm not sure. When people like Juan Soto
Don't put that out there.
Don't wait for the next step. Shohei Ohtani
All right, let's
get mentioned as trade candidates, and then you look at the prospect-rich teams. I'm sitting next to a fan of one of them, at least the Dodgers. And no offense to the Yankees.
No, they're not.
I don't think they are, but the Orioles really are prospect-rich team, and if they want to, not even break up the core, but just sell off a couple of the pieces that they have. If they have riches at like shortstop, I know there's one place that they have plenty of prospects at, and they already got a guy, like you said, in Gunnar Henderson, who's leading the way there at the major league level. I'll ask Kyle, do you think would be a smart move to it's not breaking up your core, because it's not like you're trading away Adley Rutschman or anything like that, but to trade some of those younger pieces for, if they wanted to, at the very least, get a top of the line starting pitcher, because I think everybody agrees they need that.
Yeah. No, I think that's what they need to do. Because exactly what you said, this team has no starting pitching. And that's what you need. I mean, obviously, it's the old additive that pitching wins championships. And there's only so far that Dean Kramer can take you in a playoff series. So for that, I mean, yeah, it makes sense. I think just though you got to keep the guys like Rutschman, Henderson, and the ones who are at the core at the major league level right now. The other guys, I mean, yeah, the conversation has to be had for you to get a top of the line player like that. But yeah, I think as long as you keep that core at the major league level, I think they'll be all right.
First of all, they got to switch that saying. Pitching wins you championships. No, it doesn't. Good pitching wins you championships.
Yeah.
Second of all, if you're the Baltimore Orioles, why don't you give the Cubs a call? What do you want for Marcus Stroman? And that's your ace.
I would not be opposed to that as if I was an Orioles fan. As a Phillies fan, though, I guess it doesn't affect me either way. Phillies aren't in the Marcus Stroman sweepstakes, I guess you would say. But
no, they're in the pay Trey Turner for the rest of his business.
Yep, him, Bryce Harper. I mean, JT's not in for the rest of his life, but yeah, I'm okay with that. You guys are both paying people for the rest of their lives too, so.
Well, the guy that we paid, we already won, so.
Freddie Freeman didn't win a World Series in LA.
Mookie Betts did. Though.
Okay, Mookie Betts did. No, we don't have to talk about Aaron Judge's postseason performance. We don't want to in a bad mood. The rest.
You guys are really chipping into me today.
It had to be me because I was the only one in the car the whole time. So, anything else you guys want to add?
No.
If I see one more Eagles jersey, I'm gonna vomit everywhere.
All right.
If I see one more Derek Jeter jersey,
okay,
I'm gonna vomit too.
You can do that. But come on, unnecessary shots at the Eagles here. What do you expect?
Yeah, I know. It's an Eagles town.
Champions.
Oh, the city of losing, Philly.
All right, city of making it to the championship is the way I look at it. We don't have to talk about what happened in the championship game. We made it there.
Super Bowl, World Series,
Yeah.
MLS.
Yeah.
If you consider that a sport.
Nah,
If you
I
do.
don't follow that. But the Sixers weren't that good, so I'm not
Nah.
a Sixers fan.
Yeah.
Anyway, so.
That too. I've seen too many Embiid jerseys too.
No Harden jerseys though.
Boy, he doesn't want to be there anymore.
Yeah, this is the best.
Don't come out here, please. Don't come back to California. Please don't.
Well, maybe to the other side of LA. Clippers. Oh,
Yeah,
come on. You know he's a team cancer pretty much.
I know he is, but like,
They want to tear down Paul George anyway. Take him out.
Paul George does it to himself.
Okay, we're not a basketball podcast at this point, so we're not going to dive into all that. But
Around the rim.
yeah. I don't think we're naming it that if we are making a basketball podcast. Either way, that's going to do it for episode 25. We are going to be bringing lots of good content here in person from this whole weekend, so you better be on the lookout for that. And yeah, I think that's going to do it for Kyle and Mello and myself here. We will see you later. Episode 25 in the books.
Adios.
Later.